My service manager at a luxury dealership implemented a zero-exception policy on diagnostics, stating that every single engine warning light required a mandatory $2,000 multi-point teardown inspection before a car could leave our shop. He literally stood over my toolbox and said, "I don't care if you think you know what the issue is. You run the full manual diagnostic protocol every single time, or I'm taking your station away." So when our dealership group's absolute biggest corporate client brought in his rare sports car with a glowing engine light right before a massive flight, I didn't argue. I just rolled the car into the back, completely disassembled the front chassis by the book, and watched my manager try to explain why a loose gas cap cost the business a multi-million-dollar vehicle contract. I was the master technician for this premium brand, and after 15 years on the floor, you can diagnose most common vehicle issues in about 10 seconds. But our new service director, Kyle, was an aggressive corporate hire who only saw our shop as a revenue extractor. He wanted to inflate our billable labor hours to hit his quarterly regional bonus. On a Friday afternoon, the managing director of our largest commercial client pulls up to the bay in his personal flagship Grand Tour. The engine light was flashing and he was frantic. He told us, "I have a private corporate flight in 2 hours. Just tell me if it's safe to drive to the airport hangar, and I'll drop it off for a full service next week." I popped the hood and checked the system code on my handheld pad. It was code P0456, a minor EVAP leak. I looked down, and sure enough, the gas cap wasn't clicked tight. It was a literal 2-second fix. I reached down to tighten it, but Kyle stepped out of his glass booth, grabbed my hand, and pulled me back. He looked at the customer and said, "Sir, a flashing light is incredibly dangerous. Our mandatory diagnostic safety protocol requires a full overnight component isolation check. It will be $2,000, and we can have it ready by Saturday afternoon." The customer looked at him in total disbelief and said, "It was working perfectly fine an hour ago. Can't your master tech just look at it?" Kyle crossed his arms and said, "Company policy is absolute. No exceptions." Then he looked at me and said, "Get this vehicle onto the lift immediately." So I chose absolute compliance. I rolled the sports car back, raised the lift, and opened the official factory manual. The protocol stated that for persistent EVAP codes, the entire fuel neck and rear subframe assembly had to be systematically dropped to inspect the vacuum lines. I took my sweet time. I unbolted the exhaust, detached the suspension links, and carefully labeled every single nut and bolt. By 5 p.m., the car was completely in pieces across my garage bay floor. Meanwhile, the customer had completely missed his private flight, delaying a massive international business merger. He walked back into Kyle's office, dropped his loaner keys on the desk, and canceled his company's entire commercial fleet contract on the spot, a contract worth over $3 million annually to our dealership network. The owner of the dealership group stormed onto the floor Monday morning with HR. He stood by my lift, looked at the bare chassis, and demanded to know why our top client was completely alienated. I didn't say a word. I just hand-delivered Kyle's signed policy memo, along with my diagnostic readout showing the original loose gas cap code. The owner read it, looked at the completely dismantled $300,000 car, and turned to Kyle. He asked him if his $2,000 diagnostic fee was going to cover a $3 million breach. Kyle was escorted out of the building 5 minutes later, and I tightened the gas cap. Turns out, trying to force an expensive fix can dismantle your entire business.